is back for the Huskies. That is Adama Sanogo, Dan Hurley's second leading scorer. Missed the last 4 due to an abdominal injury. Critical absence, O'Donnell on the other side. That's Daryl Morcell. The veteran is out. In his place, Olivier Maxence-Prosper, you see in that Jeep starting lineup. How critical is that for Marquette?
Well, the landscape has changed for both teams. Now UConn is a little bit more.
There we go. Marquette and Connecticut. First of 2 inside Fiserv Forum. And let's re-jump it. A little bit of the anticlimactic start, but here we go. It's Marquette. Officiating crew Jeff Anderson, Roger Ayers, and Tim Clockerty on hand with the whistle this evening.
So important for Marquette to move that basketball side to side, but then once you catch it, you got to get to the rim just like that, and you can't be deterred. You go strong, there's a block, you got to keep playing.
UConn, one of the best shot blocking teams in the country, and Donnie, the first rejection goes to a Cook. He turned away that Olivier Maxence-Prosper shot right at the rim.
And I think there's just not a lot of scouting report on a Cook. That's exactly why teams continue to challenge him.
He's never a lengthy team. They're one of the best on the glass as well at both ends. And now they get their first clean possession. R.J. Cole, he wears number 2 in the Navy. Gives off to Andre Jackson, and he buries the first 3.
Yeah, that's big for Jackson because he's been working so hard at it. He has all the ability in the world. That's the last piece Danny Hurley believes that he needs to be just a big-time player.
Sophomore from Amsterdam, New York, was terrific on Saturday. A loss for UConn, though. Both of these teams coming off Big East openers in which they fell. Boy, just some hard-fought losses. There's Kirk Queth.
It's a great job. You have to understand, when you have guys like Whaley, Cook, Sanogo inside for UConn, you can't play around with the basketball, as my coach used to say. You get that ball 4 feet, you can't put it on the floor if you're a big. You have to grab it with balance and go up quick. That's exactly what Queth did.
Oh, and Marquette will need a little less hesitation on that end of the floor without Morcell. Here's Isaiah Whaley up top. Second opportunity for the Huskies. Cole has it stripped. Prosper pushes. Queth with that long reach right to the bucket.
You know, we talked to Shaka Smart. He talks about Queth's defensive end. What a nice surprise for Marquette early in this game. Running the floor, finishing in the paint.
He's got both Golden Eagle baskets. 12th meeting between these two. UConn swept the season series a year ago. A Cook connects from deep.
It's a part of his game that isn't talked about enough. A Cook, just because he's so long, you know, he only averages about 5 points a game and hasn't taken a lot of threes, but he's efficient.
Oh, there's a free. Cam Jones, the freshman, hits an early bucket.
You and I talked off of air. He's one of those guys with Kolek who really has to step up. Great opportunity for him in this game tonight.
UConn attacking the rim. Martin got fouled, and one more coming.
And this was a piece of the game that Shaka Smart told us today we just have to be aware of. They're such a great offensive rebounding team, UConn. We have to find bodies. Even if it's not your man, you have to get in front of a blue jersey.
And Shaka Smart, back in his home state, the 44-year-old from, about 90 minutes down the road. He grew up in Oregon, Milwaukee, outside of Madison. In his first season at Marquette after 6 years at Texas. Queth lost it. Jackson picks it up. Martin right back to the 10. And rebound down to Justin Lewis.
Be nice for Marquette to get him involved. Just let him get a touch.
He had some space, and he nails it from the logo.
Well, he's a talented player. big time size and length. Saw him think about that three. He's 1 of 12 from three in his last 2 games. So that was a good decision to put it on the floor and get into the teeth of the D.
And Justin Lewis is Marquette's leading scorer. He goes for more than 15 a game. One of the few returning players from a season ago. Nice touch on that leader. And UConn retakes a 2-point lead. You heard Casey Jacobson talk about that is a manner in which Marquette and many Shaka Smart coach teams typically play.
Well, depth is on the side of UConn, especially with Sanogo back, so they would love to get up and use their God-given talent.
It's usually an entertaining battle when these two get together. A 2-point lead for UConn. He has taken, averaging, you see, better than 15.5 points per game. He's missed the last 4. He just adds this, really versatile dimension to the offense when he's on the floor.
Terrific size, obviously can score over both shoulders. The interesting thing about team coaches that I've talked to and the way their teams defend against him is he only has 7 assists on the season and about 20 in 2 seasons. So you know when he catches it, where he's going.
Meanwhile, Tyler Kolek, he's the transfer from George Mason. The sophomore has had a fine year. He's got his first basket right at the bucket. He went right at Sanogo. Danny Hurley's Huskies, 9-3 start. They've got a couple of signature. Jackson dumps it at Sanogo. With that right hand, wild shot, rebound down to Quick.
Yeah, you'd love to see early.
Oh, Greg Elliott puts it in. He has been feeling it these last couple of games.
Really has. He's just one of those guys. 18 points last game. Just does a tremendous job of keeping them balanced. He can get you threes, makes twos, will get to the foul line. He has had a terrific season for Shaka Smart so far.
Now that 18-point performance on the heels of a 22-point game against Detroit. On the heels of the Sanogo miss, this is Kolek. He's such a calming, steadying presence out on the floor this year for Shaka Smart's Golden Eagles. And he's looking for Quick. Give and go. And the slam.
You know, Kolek's been struggling the last few games shooting the ball. Had some foul trouble he was in against Xavier, but he's leading the Big East in assists. So you give him too much space, he's not necessarily going to hurt you from downtown, but he will find guys.
Yeah,
players, like you said, with a nice presence to him.
Boy, you're right on. Nearly 6 assists a game, and there is Sanogo with his first basket since November 30th. 3-point lead for the Golden Eagles. Kolek right back to Cliff.
Come on. Come on. Tyler Kolek just making it so easy. Most players of that size, they see a guy like Sanogo in front. They're gonna wig out a little bit. That's just great patience and confidence in finding a big.
Foul on Lewis on that pass inside to Sanogo. I said 6 assists a game. He's got 4 in the first 8 minutes of this one. There's Dan Hurley. Boy, what has he done, Donnie? The only thing he's done over the last few years is just elevate UConn back to a level that we are used to seeing it. Preseason number 2 in those preseason rankings. Led the Huskies back to the NCAA tournament a year ago for the first time in 5 years.
He's taken 3 teams to the NCAA tournament. Yep. Former A-10 Coach of the Year. Look, he's been around. He's got a nice resume.
Oh, wow, the reverse. Tyrese Martin with the acrobatic finish. He's got 5 for UConn. 3-point game in Milwaukee. That's a traveling violation. That was Stevie Mitchell.
That's great ball pressure. I mean, that's what UConn does. This team knows when you pick that ball up, they jump on it, and that's just a terrific job. They're the 3rd best team in the Big East in terms of points against defensively, and that's why they know how to pressure you.
Yeah, one of the most efficient defenses, maybe the stingiest in this league. A foul away from the ball takes us to a timeout.
Up the way Shaka Smart wants. Queth not in foul trouble. He's giving you some good minutes. because you're going to rely on him defensively, especially with Sanogo back on the court.
Marquette team that just continues to gel, and here's Tyrese Martin with another attack on the basket. He is a physical all Big East player, and he has done that several times already. Goes straight to the rack. He's got 7.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup for Colette.
Oh, offensive foul. They whistle Stevie Mitchell. And it was Cole who slid in to take the charge.
First personal.
And talk about their size, UConn, but how about their little guys? You get up into the charge there, R.J. Cole.
Boy, the strength for UConn this year, you mentioned one piece, I think, already, is just the depth of the roster, but it is an experienced group, so much roster continuity. So you take away James Bouknight, but UConn brought back its top 6 scorers, I should say, from a year ago behind him. Oh, look at that. Sanogo wide open, right to the bucket.
That's a play, you know, when coaches play games and they're beaten by teams, they'll pick something from the teams that beat them, and that was a play that really beat them against Providence.
Lewis with the answer. Boy, that was a war, wasn't it? A couple of days ago on Saturday, you were there.
That was the exact play. The weak side is lifted, and they get Sanogo in that. Awesome stuff right here. Good angle. You lift guys on the other side in this game. And now look, sometimes you get in the game and you're going up and down, so you have to kind of get in where you fit in. But I would say a steady diet of that just to try to get his timing back, Sanogo, after those games he's missed.
There's a steal. Gaffney pushes to the freshman. That's Jordan Hawkins. Polly fires. Yes. His first triple. Welcome back to Fiserv.
Boy. And that's when he's at his best. Catch and shoot. Does a great job of moving left and right, Tyler Polly, and getting those feet set and elevating.
UConn starting to clamp down, specifically the last couple of minutes. In the corner, Lewis wants the 3. Now, so far, Donnie, we've seen a number of UConn shots that just weren't falling a couple of days ago against Providence that have gone down, including the Andre Jackson bucket, +1.
Missed shots because of their ability to get out in transition. Those missed shots are almost like turnovers, almost like steals for UConn. And this kid, to me, one of the best, I would say top 3 or 4 athletes UConn has ever had in that uniform, ever. I mean, his athleticism is second to none every single game. He's still trying to polish it up a little bit, Andre Jackson, but he is going to be special. Olympic athlete.
Boy, he is fun, isn't he? He's coming off a 14-rebound effort, and Dan Hurley spotlighted it after the Saturday loss. He is just so determined. He plays with spirit. He plays with passion. It's a 5-point UConn lead. Elliott attacks. Boy, that one pinball right to Whaley. Eyes up. Here's Pollard. Hawkins wants it. Way off that time. Let's see if Marquette can settle down and throw something in the hoop. Prosper. Free for a moment. The long reach with the right hand. And he tipped it back in.
And that's big. You know, this Marquette team is not built with guys who can break you down off the dribble. Sometimes late clock they struggle a little bit because they just don't have that one guy who can do that. So to see Prosper get himself to the rim and finish that on the...
Lewis attacks off the turnover. And he's headed to the line after the foul.
There's another guy, you know, that probably hurt a little bit. You're basically, as an offensive player, trying to keep that ball as far away from the hands of the defender. So when you lift it up, your elbows obviously are going to come up as well. And when it's a smaller player in front of you, there's some contact.
That just looked like a basketball play as you're outlining there, as opposed to any sort of excessive contact. R.J. Cole back into the game for UConn. Well, you were detailing Lewis's game earlier, the sophomore from Baltimore. He's got good genetics, huh? 6'7", 245, but he's got a nimble, agile way about his game.
And he has something you can't teach, and that's wingspan.
Yep.
And big hands. Those are things you can't teach. Arm length, and those are great attributes, especially for a guy 6'7". Means he plays bigger.
Jackson fires to Whaley. Blocked. Lewis smothered Whaley that time. Kolek eyes up. Prosper flings it back out. And he saves the possession for Marquette. 1 point game coming up on the 8-minute mark. Cole just so active. Poked that one away. Hawkins and Jackson follows. A whistle before the near tie-up on the inbound pass. Ball back to Marquette when we return. It's a 3-point lead for the Huskies in Milwaukee today.
A smart kid, great student.
And it was a dubious freshman year for him. He was bothered a bit by some injuries. He broke his left wrist. He had a knee injury over the summer leading up to his freshman campaign. If last summer wasn't an odd one enough. And boy, he has really blossomed quickly this year. The 10 points, a major reason why UConn has the 3-point edge. Now Martin wants the 18-footer, and he's got it. Tyrese Martin stretching out. He's got 9.
The fact that he can knock down a three, only shooting 22% on the season, he's due for a big game.
Martin fouled on the way in. That's the first foul on Queth. Yeah, if Kolek can add a little scoring punch for the Golden Eagles, that's going to be humongous, especially on a night where Daryl Morcell is out due to health and safety protocols. So Martin back at the free throw line. You see he goes for 13 a game.
And also for Kolek, it's a different level of play for him. It's probably a different position. So when you have to make that transition to a higher level, bigger, stronger guys, smarter, you know, in terms of what sequences and what plays you run, that's probably part of the reason he's shooting 27% from the field. But Shaka Smart loves this kid, and he's showing everybody he can run a team.
Now, it hasn't messed with his leadership. Sophomore, his first year in the program after transfer from George Mason. He's proved to be a pretty capable floor general. Right idea. It was a little behind Queth and out of bounds.
Well, that's the other part of it we just talked about. He's playing with bigger, stronger guys. You know, I'm not sure he didn't have a guy, you know, last season to play with the size of Queth. And what that means is you can't throw a bounce pass to a guy that is 6'10", 6'11". You can't throw it to his shins. Throw it where he can catch it. Let him go.
Extra pass to, well, he does a good job at that as well. Turning teams over.
Pass down 2 shots in the paint. You're 6'9". You got to shoot that basketball through Whaley.
Let's see if UConn is a little more sure of itself on this end. There's R.J. Cole. He floats it in. That's his first basket. The 5th-year senior from Union. Oh, and a foul at the rim. Cook gets whistled for the personal. Joplin was looking to slam it home.
And that was just a great job recognizing you had a teammate open up ahead. Didn't see it. A tough angle there. He didn't see a lot of contact. That's a tough one. That's one where I think you got to play on, especially when you have a guy like a Cook who's known for blocking shots.
I think the only thing there, you had kind of right arm into Joplin's midsection, but otherwise looked pretty clean. So Joplin, one of the handful of freshmen that Shaka Smart brought in, part of a top 20 rated recruiting class. Played it just a couple of minutes last time out against Xavier. And a Brookfield, Wisconsin native has it back to a 3-point game. Like both of these teams, they played in just some high-level games on Saturday. Marquette, they had to come all the way back against Xavier. We're down by double digits in that second half, but eventually just couldn't withstand the firepower the Musketeers had. Sonogo turns and scores. Meanwhile, for UConn, a 57-53 just war. Boy, how nice was it to see that XL Center rocking again for the first time in almost a couple years.
And especially playing against a New England rival like Providence College.
Yep.
Building was electric.
With that long reach with the left hand. Instead, going the other way. Elliott pulls offline.
Great job by Sonogo getting back down the floor. Usually bigs are the last ones down, hustled down and grabbed a defensive rebound.
Coat up, floats it up, banks it in.
It's like, you know, he can be such a great college player, and at times he can show you he's got some playground game to him too.
Improvisation.
Yeah, this will get you Ian Horse every single time out. Look how high, soft off the glass, the offhand over a 6'11" guy.
Four points for the Union, New Jersey native. You see, there's Dan Hurley in the background. R.J. Cole's had the pleasure of playing for a couple of Hurleys. Played for his father, Bob, at St. Anthony a number of years back. Kolek is looking for his second three. And UConn starting to stretch that lead. It's 7. Drive and kick, Cole.
And it's a point in the game with just over 4 minutes to go in the half where Marquette has to take care of the basketball. Don't be afraid to make an extra pass.
Lewis, not that time.
Well, make UConn work for some shots here.
And early take that time by Martin. Oh, Lewis came roaring into the paint. He got bumped, and he draws the foul. So UConn now has its largest lead of the evening. It's a 7-point edge for the Huskies. Subsequently, the winning percentage has increased. The number of conference wins have improved. And this is exactly what I think folks expected when he took the job. He has kind of restored UConn to the top of the Big East where it belongs.
And I think it's what he expected. You know, when he took the job, coaching in the Big East, a Power 5 conference, is different than, all due respect to the AAC,
right.
It's just a different animal. There's history to it, there's size and strength, and, you know, so it helps you recruit those guys. You know, their last coach, Kevin Ollie, felt the opposite of that. You know, where you stay in a smaller conference, and it's just a different animal when you go recruit. So this is exactly what Dan Hurley wanted. He knew what he was getting himself into. And you're right, they're ascending. He's getting some nice bodies. He's giving them a nice system to play in.
By the way, we're going to go shot clock review here. Did David Joplin get it off? I think so. Take a look at the backboard. Okay, yeah. You got to look at the backboard.
I don't know. My angle, it looks like that light came on and it was still touching his fingertips.
Yeah, and ultimately, you want to look for the light on the backboard as opposed to the shot clock was cut off on top of that backboard. So you got Roger Ayers, Jeff Anderson, Tim Clockerty over at the scorer's table.
Yeah, take a look, top of the backboard.
Right now, that might still be in the right fingertip.
Yeah, I'd say that's no good.
Yep. Really nice looking shot. Difficult contested shot, but I don't know if it's going to count for Joplin. No, rather it will count. So David Joplin has his second bucket.
That looked like, if you took the light, I mean, we just showed everyone at home, it looked like it was still in his hand, but.
Well, the Golden Eagles will take it any way they can get it this evening. 11 out of 23 from the field now. Make it 12 out of 24, so they're 50% from the field. Looking for their first Big East win. Martin turns on Kolek. Right hand, he's got it.
Yeah, he's been abusing that matchup. He had Kolek earlier at the top of the paint, went right by him. That's just a tough matchup. Tyrese Martin is too big and strong, and that's a veteran. He's been around the block a few times.
He has. A senior almost at his season average. He just poked that one away from Lewis, but it's a foul. Martin now with 12. His average is 13 a game. The all Big East talent from Allentown, PA.
We talked about it not knowing the scouting report, and it's Sanogo running at a guy who's one of his last 13 from 3. So you got to know the scouting report. Sometimes as college players, we just want to get out and play basketball, especially if you miss some games. Just excited to get out, but you got to pay attention to those small details and know your personnel. Out under control, or even challenge him to try to shoot a 3 from there.
Boy, in that case, it was a pair of Huskies that came roaring out at Lewis. He cashes in on 1 out of 2 from the line. Lewis with 7 plus 5 rebounds as well. Connecticut swept this Golden Eagles team twice last year in both games in pretty convincing fashion, especially in the second halves of those contests. Pass batted down by Kolek. Joplin earning some minutes in the first half with more sellout. Looking for his shot. Fouled. And he's headed to the line for 2. So David Joplin. Yeah. Second personal on Gaffney. And so this is the second trip to the line for Joplin, the freshman from Brookfield, Wisconsin. This was a Shaka Smart recruiting class that featured 5 4-star freshmen. He's laying the foundation in his first year in Milwaukee.
Prosper, Joplin, those 2 guys with more sellout. Huge opportunity for them. If they can get, Shaka Smart can get just a little bit of something from those 2 guys, they'll have a shot in this game.
And Donnie, they have been down for much of this first half, but not by many. It's back to a 5-point game coming up on the 2-minute mark. UConn's largest lead, 7. Martin fouled that time. A little too overeager is Joplin. No, rather, that's an offensive foul.
Yeah, anytime you hand this ball off and you move into it, you got to get those feet set. That's a really good call by the official, especially that far away from the basket. Bigs have to know. You have to almost be perfect when you're out near the 3-point line in a dribble handoff situation, setting a pick.
Sanogo takes a seat. First foul on the big man in his return to the court. Queth is out there once more for Marquette. Joplin, Prosper, Kolek, and Lewis, the 5 for the Golden Eagles. Trying to get it back to maybe a 2 or a 3-point game. There's a bump on Pauly. Now that'll send Marquette to the line for a 1-and-1.
Unfortunate that ball did not pass that nail, as we like to call it, the middle of the floor. It stayed on one side of the floor, and at some point I would imagine you're going to have to get Justin Lewis involved in this game a little bit. He's 2 for 5. Yeah, he has 7 points, but he's been to the free throw line 4 times. I mean, that's your guy. When Marcel is out, you have to get him involved.
Marquette with, boy, nearly an entirely different roster this year. Off to an 8-4 start. They played a difficult schedule, and it's only going to get more difficult with Big East play here. R.J. Cole stretches the lead back to 7.
Yeah, just a great pass by Isaiah Whaley.
There's Lewis.
There he is. He's got it all. He really does. The three-point shooting, he's struggled. That'll come with work. He has nice touch, but he has to touch the ball, I believe, for Marquette to have a shot.
5-point game again in Milwaukee. Timeout.
He does a little bit of everything. He has all the tools. The three-point shooting, I believe, will come, but he rebounds the ball. He's got a great knack for offensive rebounding as well. And he's a character kid. You know, when everyone deserted Milwaukee, he stayed around. Fans love that.
Are they going to give Marquette the timeout? You heard? Jump ball instead with 39.1. Possession arrow favors UConn, so the Huskies will take it.
Yeah, that is a great situation where I think they should add an actual jump ball to the game of college basketball. Missed shot, defense gets the ball first, albeit on the ground, and then a blue jersey comes over and wraps it up, and then the blue team gets it back. I just don't think that's right. I think they should take that ball and jump it up. Fortunately here, Marquette's going to get the ball back with the travel, so the basketball gods are watching.
Dare I say it? Dare I repeat the tired cliche at this point? Ball don't lie, 7 turnovers aside.
I just don't know why you can't add a jump ball. How many would there be a game? It takes all of the, it takes all the criticism away from the officials. It takes a lot away from, most people don't know when that arrow changes over at the table, who's changing the arrow. I think it's a part of basketball, and it also it gives the players the control. It gives them the opportunity to decide, not an arrow on a table. Jump that ball up.
Oh, great backdoor cut. Prosper with the sledgehammer. 3-point game, 20 seconds to go. Marquette ending this half on a surge. Does it have one more stop? 10 seconds. Up top to Cole. 3 to shoot. Eyes up. Flips to Martin for 3. Puts it down. And UConn takes the 6-point edge into the break. Oh, just a lot of poise. Amidst the chaos there from the Huskies, and they cash it.
It feels like every 4 years they have one of these guys. No matter who the coach is, it calls for the prerequisite is what you see in Tyrese Martin. And he leads this team. Quiet leader, but it really leads them in so many ways.
2 years at Rhode Island. This is his second at Connecticut. Of course, was drawn to Dan Hurley's style of play, his passion. He finally gets to play for him. He has now these last couple of seasons. So Marquette, meanwhile, misses his first basket on the other end. And Donnie, what's the key for the Golden Eagles in this second half?
Get more shots. It's that simple. UConn got 7 more shots, and it's a couple possession game. So they're not playing poorly. Only 5 offensive rebounds for UConn, which was one of the issues that Shaka Smart said we want to take care of or make sure it's not an issue. They're doing that on the glass. This is second in the Big East in assists. Marquette doing a good job there. Keep sharing the basketball.
Boy, Cole watched that one rattle down and out. was a weird sequence just after the inbound, or before the inbound, with Tyrese Smart. He froze. It looked like he was waiting for a whistle after the miss. There's Justin Lewis, attacks the rim nicely. 4-point game.
And how about a steady diet of Justin Lewis, but in the right spots? You know, don't leave him on an island. You know, give him that ball on a swing. I'd love to see him posting up if he gets a smaller guy on him. Marquette seems to do a good job. Shaka Smart recognizes, hey, we had a smaller guy on us. Throw the ball inside.
Lewis now into double figures. He's done that in all but one game this year. Cook dials it up, and he throws it in from deep. Cook with 6.
Again, I just don't think there's enough scouting report on him for teams to respect that he can knock down shots. He's made a couple of threes in this game, and you know they're looking around Marquette players at the bench like, what's happening here? This is, you have to know the scouting report. He has touch. He hasn't taken a lot, but he's efficient. He's 10 of 16 on the season. You know, this is a guy who is a UConn fan favorite for a lot of reasons, but you know, one of those guys that's continuing to emerge that missed a lot of time, you know, last year with an injury.
I got that at a scintillating 63% from deep. Now, granted, like you said, it's only 16 shots from beyond the arc, but still, as Elliott comes back in, there goes Cam Jones. He's tenderly limping a little bit. Meanwhile, Kolek trying to throw one more in at the line. He does. And so the sophomore goes 2 for 2. Back to a 5-point game. This game has been in this vicinity, if you will, for Marquette. Down 3, 4, 5, 6 points. It has trailed for much of this game, but has been at arm's length away for all of it. Cole decides to pull up. And Prosper with a strong board.
That's what I love most about Tyler Kolek, is he'll throw that ball ahead. He'll give it up to guys.
Lewis tried the head fakes in a second effort. He would not be denied that time.
Well, that's the post up we were just talking about a few plays ago. Now, you're going against the guy in Isaiah Whaley, who the co-defensive player of the year last year in the Big East, but shows you a little bit of the confidence that Lewis has, and his teammates get out of the way and let him go to work.
Oh boy, the instincts, because Whaley is a tremendous shot blocker. Whaley just picked up a foul on Lewis.
That hurts. Hey, this is just toughness. Sometimes, as a team's best player, you have to go get it. With a good head fake, probably got fouled there. They didn't call it. He stayed with it. Other end. I mean, that's, I don't know. I saw more contact at the other end on Lewis.
Yeah, that's going to be much to Lewis's chagrin, especially considering that sequence on the other side of the floor. The second person on the Baltimore native.
And here's the part of that, why that happens is you have different officials working the baselines at different ends of the floor.
Sure.
So one official at one end may feel, hey, you know, you can play through that, and the official at the other end may be thinking, you're standing underneath the guy, so I got to call it.
Marquette can't cash in. Here come the Huskies. One of these teams coming away with their first Big East win tonight. Cook finally misfires from deep, and Martin was on the end line, out of bounds, ball back to Marquette.
Yeah, Cook is arguing that he might have gotten hit on the arm. I thought that was a quick shot for him. I will say, if they can get a Cook to knock down some shots consistently, and he can get some extended time, because right now he's only playing about 17 minutes a game, that just gives them another option on the perimeter.
Big one for Elliott. Oh, Lewis had it lined up to tip back in, and it ricocheted off his fingers, out of bounds. Does stay with the Golden Eagles. Marquette playing without Daryl Morcell. He is out due to health and safety protocols, and that is one of Marquette's top scorers. He goes for 14 a game, the fifth-year senior, the veteran transfer from Maryland. But Marquette's hanging with one of the Big East best this year. That's UConn.
And this is where they get into a little trouble. They don't have a breakdown guy off the dribble.
I think he traveled. Elliott did. That's a walk.
Yeah, it's just a part of the game that Shaka Smart is trying to figure out for his guys, but sometimes the personnel is just not there. So you have to try to get them into something set before that shot clock runs down. Now listen, as players, you got to be able to find a way to score the ball late in the clock. You're going to need that, in especially in this conference.
In the words of his good friend, he told us earlier, Joe Dumars, and sometimes you just need to find the guy who's going to get you a basket.
That's it.
Shaka Smart.
If you don't have that guy, you got to just say, hey, you're the guy today. It's your turn.
It's another Marquette foul. Yeah, the ever-positive Shaka Smart. He loves a good quote, and he uses many of them. And yeah, that's Elliott. He's got both hands around Jackson.
I mean, I could see that being pass interference in a football game. And you got the left hand on him, but that tough one.
For three. Remember, just his second game back after missing 4 with a broken left wrist, and he's had a fine 15-point evening. Lewis just got whistled for the travel. So a flurry of Marquette turnovers, and the ball's back to UConn. Good Big East battle tonight.
About his team. You know, there's not a lot of... You know, when we've spoken to a ton of coaches, look at that. They just, wow, turnovers. These are silly turnovers at this stage for both teams. Once you feel that you're, like you said, arm length away, you can't have turnovers if you're Marquette. If you're UConn trying to pull away, same deal. You gotta tighten some things up, clean some things up. You're going to think about a loss. It might not be for another month, but you'll remember it.
Lewis muscling in. Boy, uses that wide, bulky frame. That is just a grown man move to the 10.
We talk about Shaka Smart and his adaptability. You know, we knew him from Havoc with VCU and had some more size at Texas, so they didn't have as much of the Havoc. Now he's here. He's recruited some really good players after a lot of guys leaving, so his adaptability is second to none in college basketball.
Oh, Cole splashes a 3. And the immediate answer, each time the Golden Eagles get it back to 2, 3, or 4 points, UConn responds. The Huskies shooting 50% from the field. Prosper up for 2. Got it.
What a great move. Teammates staying out of the way. Good timing. You got a cook in front of you. Got to finish that high.
Olivier Maxon's Prosper, pardon. Fantastic name. They call him Omax. He's got 6. Cole in attack mode. On the pull-up.
Does such a nice job of getting you back on your heels and stopping on a dime.
Cole now with the 11. 9th straight double-figure scoring game for the 5th-year senior. That is UConn's leading scorer. Lewis was looking for Quet. The double team came at the right time. Martin glides in, and he banks it home.
Yeah, you just don't want Justin Lewis to have to work that far away from the basket. And congratulations to Tyrese Martin, 1,000 career points.
Well, he is having his finest season.
A layup in transition, because that's where he is, in my opinion, the most special. Knows how to finish through contact, around contact, and what a great feeling.
Boy, at times last year, Donnie, the lottery pick who's had some great recent games for the Charlotte Hornets lately, James Bouknight, he was option A, B, and C at times last year for UConn. And the question this year, players like Cole and Martin, would they take the necessary step forward offensively? They both have. Has led to a great deal of success for UConn. Huskies have their largest lead. Lewis cut off, but bumped by Whaley. That's the first foul on Isaiah Whaley.
Now, it's one thing to have Justin Lewis in a good spot and try to get him post-ups and let him go to work, but at the other end, Marquette, you got to get stops.
Yeah.
You know, take care of the ball at this end, give it to Lewis, but you have to get stops at the other end.
UConn shooting 52% from the field. Lewis turns. Bounce right to him. Sonogo saves it. Elliott chasing Cole the whole time. Count it! At the line for one more. Coming up.
Who's helping Elliott?
And that's exactly what the call is. It remains just a common foul. A Union, New Jersey native with 14, and the Huskies have a double-digit lead for the first time today in Milwaukee. Still a whole load of time left for Marquette. There's Elliott right to the rack. He's coming off that 18-point game against Xavier. Not quite as loud tonight. Just the 5 points.
But you get a feel that UConn, they're comfortable. They're getting their baskets easier than Marquette is getting theirs. You know, Marquette's really working hard through contact, trying to finish high. You'd like to see them, your shot is Mark, getting something out of their offense.
There's Joplin. You know, the freshman had a really ambitious, aggressive first half. Now he has 7.
That's keeping them close. You just wonder how long can that last with 12 minutes to play against a team like UConn. Defensively, they're going to start to figure it out. Right now, it's one-on-one basketball that's keeping Marquette in this game.
Oh, Sonogo dribbled it off his foot. Marquette with consecutive baskets to get it back to a 7-point game. They've got the ball next. First couple of years at Howard, the 2019 MEAC Player of the Year. So yeah, he's had his role kind of transformed and evolved over the years. I mean, he was the alpha at Howard. 2 years there, averaged 22.5 a game. Last year, he was kind of the Robin to James Bouknight, who was Batman. This season, yeah, he is displaying his playmaking abilities that you've alluded to a number of times. This ball is going to stay here.
1,500 points in 2 seasons at Howard. I mean, that's all you need to say. 1,500 points in 2 years. That's putting the ball in the basket.
Marquette down 7. It has been down for the majority of this game. And Iguodaro hits the deck. He's fouled, though. And that's the 4th team foul on UConn.
It's a great pass by Justin Lewis. And you're looking inside when you have that much space. Your big moves to an open area. Just take a look down low as he comes down. That left ankle rolls.
Yeah, that is no fun.
Yeah, that might not hurt you right now, but take those shoes off and
extra ice bag. Iguodara's a tough dude. He stays on the floor, and Lewis earns himself a couple of free throws. Boy, Lewis is just a smart, heady player. You outlined his vision. He's just a complete player as a sophomore.
But we talked about this coming out of halftime. This is what, and let him go in there and go to work. Now, he may have gotten away with an offensive foul, but they didn't call it. And he has a chance to get his team closer with the clock stopped.
It's past his season average now. One more cuts it back to a 5-point game. Yeah, it was late in the first half. I think you noticed it. He had only taken, maybe 5 or 6 shots and has clearly become more of a focal point, as he typically is. Sophomore from Baltimore. One of years transferred away after Steve Wojciechowski was relieved of his duties. Shaka Smart hired shortly after the regular season came to a close. When he hit the transfer portal himself, he brought in a number of strong impact transfers. Boy, look at this one. From one end of the floor to the other, Hawkins couldn't finish. Marquette in a rush. This is Elliott. Lewis, boy, he was trying to twist Whaley, twisted himself down in the corner. Joplin misfires.
I love the battle going on between Whaley and Lewis right now.
Yep. Iguodala's going to get whistled for his third foul. That time he shoved Sanogo.
Yeah, that's tough. At that point, if you haven't, as coaches like to say, if you haven't done your work early, meaning if you haven't gotten in front of him or gotten in his way, at any point, you almost have to, you're at his mercy now. You got to let him catch it without shoving him, and then hope you have some teammates that can dig back. But, you know, an already thin team, those silly fouls start to pile up late.
5 team fouls for each squad. Gaffney dumps it down. Sanogo lost it.
Yeah. See, now he didn't push him there, Kev. He caught it, and who knows, that could have happened the last time. But stay behind the guy, you just never know.
Boy, Lewis rescues the freshman, lays it up, and somehow gets himself 2 free throws. That possession looked like it was doomed to be a Marquette turnover, and instead Lewis bails out Joplin, and he's got a chance to get this back to a 3-point game.
Look, I would say none of these plays really the last 4 or 5 times down have been Renoirs for Marquette. No. Nothing has been a thing of beauty, but sometimes in this conference, and probably a lot of conferences can say the same thing, this is how you have to play. This is how you have to grind your way through games. This is what you work all summer for. I know it turns into a cliche, but some of these games may be ugly, but I tell you, at the end of the night, the prettiest thing about it is the W. There are no ugly W's in basketball.
And if there's one thing that Marquette is at this point of the year, they are battle-tested. They've played 5 ranked teams, a very difficult schedule. They're coming off a back-to-back here against Xavier and UCLA. They played Wisconsin. They've got some signature wins as well against Illinois and West Virginia, Kansas State. It has been a very daunting start to the year for the Golden Eagles. They have one of the strongest schedules in the nation, and they are battling UConn. It's a 4-point game. Gaffney at the line after he drew the foul.
And it's a tough situation for Marquette, especially the players. You know, you beat Illinois, you lose to St. Bonaventure, you lose to Wisconsin, you lose to UCLA, you lose to Xavier, all ranked teams. But you're getting so much experience from those games. Like, there are no moral victories, we know that, but you win at Kansas State, very good team. You beat West Virginia, you beat Ole Miss. So this is a schedule that Shaka Smart, they're not shying away from anyone. And win or lose,
midway mark of the second half. 2-possession game. Iguodala down to Prosper.
I like what Prosper's bringing tonight. I really do. Taking advantage of his opportunity, getting a chance to start. Really showing up tonight.
9-2 run. Gaffney running the point with Cole taking a breather. Step back 3. And the rebound down to the freshman Jones.
Great box outs there by Marquette. Iguodala especially limiting UConn to one and done.
Joplin spins on Pauly. Can't get it to go.
Falling away.
Marquette was down by 7 a couple of minutes ago. It's a 9-2 run. Back to a 4-point game. They need to stop, though. Pauly, pump fake, steps to his left. And it's a foul on Gaffney. We're going back the other way.
I love the way Marquette is pursuing the ball in this game off the glass. They're out-rebounding Connecticut, one of the best rebounding teams in the Big East. I mean, doing a job of finding blue uniforms, cutting them off, and going up and getting the ball.
Boy, I think you nailed it. UConn coming into this, they average about 15 of those a night. This evening, just 6. Marquette has done a fabulous job battling with UConn on the glass. And so a 1-and-1 is coming up for Iguodaro. It's the redshirt freshman from Chandler, Arizona.
Yeah, when we talked to Shaka Smart today, that's the first thing he said. We asked him, what's your keys? First thing he said, we got to keep them off the offensive glass. They're an amazing offensive rebounding team, and so far they've done that.
Marquette hasn't led since the first half, but they're back within 2. 11-2 run.
Someone other than R.J. Cole beat you.
Oh, look at this. Knocked out by the Golden Eagles. Little bit of a dicey sequence right there.
And usually the pressure Marquette gives full court is just a pressure to slow the pace down a little bit. It's not to go for a steal. Almost worked out that time.
So now it's UConn on its heels. 8:25 to go. Cole back into the game, and he draws a foul on Jones.
That's the one guy who can keep the pressure on you with that ball handling. You know, as much as Tyrese Martin can score on you, a Cook from 3, Andre Jackson can get that ball up, and Whaley can do the job on the glass. This guy right here is the one that you really have to stay in front of and almost shade some help to him. Try to make someone else make plays. Late clock for UConn.
Cole 85% at the stripe. He always represents his hometown. That's Union, New Jersey. You even see the New Jersey Devil logo. There it is on the left shoulder. 2 of 2 at the stripe tonight. Cole with 16. He's turned into one of the better point guards in the Big East. Top 10 of the league in not just scoring, but assists per game as well. He's got the Huskies back up by 4. Jones with a beautiful spin. But he tried to pass it off. If you're Jones, you're right there. Maybe just throw it up.
I don't know. There's some size in front of him. I saw what he's trying to do. He drew a couple of defenders trying to get it to Prosper.
Call offline. It's a young Marquette 5 out there. Prosper floats it up. That's good.
Young fella earning him some minutes and some trust from Shaka Smart.
2-point game. Martin tosses to Whaley, and he cans a 15-footer. That's a clutch jumper for the 5th-year senior from North Carolina.
Yeah, veterans, mid-range on that baseline. That's Whaley's shot.
Just to underscore this, Donnie, the 5 out there for Marquette, all freshmen and sophomore. Bounce pass. Jackson was all over it.
And at times they play like it.
Here's Martin. Strong on the 3.
A play you don't need to teach young players is value every possession.
That 3. Book it. Olivier Maxence Prosper.
That's the question. You have to get stops and continue to keep UConn off that offensive glass.
1-point game in Milwaukee. Late in the shot clock, Cole improvises. Cook wants a 3. Hit the side of the window. And now Marquette has a chance to pull ahead for the first time since the 10:30 mark of the first half.
Great recognition by Lewis. Well, Cook's not putting it on the floor. He's trying to shoot a three.
Lewis guarded by a Cook. Head down. Rebounded by Whaley. Snatches it away from Lewis. Now it's Jackson. Leans in. Fires. No. Rebound to Kolek. Jones for the lead. Not that time.
Wow, this crowd would have gone nuts. And Dan Hurley wants to talk about it. Crowd is into it. A little momentum for Marquette a little bit. And this is exactly what you do when you get an opportunity for a fall in May.
6 run. Back within 1.
It all starts with the rebounding. You know, you keep a team like UConn off the glass, you take opportunities away from there. The hard thing is keeping a team like UConn off the glass. Marquette has done it.
And whistle takes us to a very quick timeout.
It's a professional.
And physicality. It's not done a good job of slowing that man down. That's R.J. Cole, 16 points. He's got one more coming. If he nails this, it's 2,000 for his career. It would give the Huskies a 3-point lead again.
Yeah, he hits the start button for UConn. Slow start today, but I always believe when you have a guy like this who can knock down shots late clock, advantage you. I think that 2,000 points moves him ahead of Ray Liotta and most notable people from Union, New Jersey. Forget Goodfellas. I want 2,000 points.
How was his jump shot, by the way?
Non-existent.
Yeah.
But he makes pretty good movies.
By the way, Tyrese Martin, who's got the ball, he just went past 1,000 earlier. R.J. Cole kind of pulled the hold my Gatorade. There's a whistle, and that may go against UConn. That's on Tyrese Martin. Ball back to the Golden Eagles. Boy, an unfortuitous break for the Huskies, and just salute the effort this entire second half by Marquette. They have fought so hard to remain in this game, fell behind by 11. This is a younger, relatively untested Golden Eagles team with a whole bunch of sophomore and freshmen on the floor right now within 3. Right back to their strength. Justin Lewis rises for 2. He can't be stopped inside. 20-point game for the sophomore.
He's just so good down low, absorbs the contact span, just elevates and shoots over the top.
Martin on the drive. Bumps. He's got a couple of free throws coming on the other side. 1-point game in Milwaukee.
Say it, listen, you touched the ball way more than me, man. You took way more bad shots than I did. I think Ray and I had that conversation.
Well, that's a bad miss right there. This is a 1-point game. And Tyrese Martin is left one at the free throw line. These are 2 really hungry teams, Donnie, aren't they? Coming off of losses on Saturday. Yeah. One of these teams is going to go away with its first Big East win this evening.
And it's one part of Tyrese Martin's game that you're not going to write home about. Only 60% from the foul line for a guy who plays like he does. But for Marquette, it's going to come down to how little mistakes or few mistakes can you make down the stretch, because you talked about it. It's a young team.
Oh, wow. Quett was open, but he couldn't slam it. That was a brilliant feed by Kolek.
Yeah.
That would have tied it up. It remains a 2-point game.
I mean, point blank.
Oh, offensive foul.
I mean, this is I mean, you know, when people, it tickles me when people say things like, oh, it's a slam dunk. Look, even basketball player that's 6'11" can show you that a slam dunk is not that easy.
Well, he came roaring out of the gates with those 8 points in the opening minutes. Nothing since. That's actually his first field goal since the first portion of that opening half. Field goal attempt. Iguodaro spins, fires out to Jones. Leans in. Can't get it to drop.
You know, players are taught get all the way to the rim or shoot a three. When you try to shoot a mid-range 10, 12-footer off the dribble, those have turned into very difficult shots for players in this day and age.
Now Martin attacks, lays it up and in. Strong finish for Tyrese Martin.
Yeah, this is just a terrific offense. You get it to Tyrese Martin at the top with that right hand. Little hesitation there. I love the play for obvious reasons, but the one that's not so obvious is that you make the officials blow the whistle. You make them make a decision. Late games, I think so many times players not only let the defense off the hook, but they let the officials off the hook by shooting jump shots. That's a great play there, getting to the rim.
Boy, Martin and Cole have combined for 39, so the Golden Eagles, the missed dunk, the missed floater, and after back-to-back misses, they find themselves down by 5 once again. Right back to Kolek with the right hand, couldn't get it to fall.
And I think we talked to Shaka Smart about that as well. You know, you get in some games, you're missing easy shots, missing some close ones. UConn did the same thing against Providence College their last time out, missing some point-blank shots, and those close games, it comes back to bite you.
1:50 to go. Martin sizing up Iguodaro, floats it in. Tyrese Martin, takeover mode down the stretch. And all of a sudden, a 6-0 UConn run. Danny Hurley's team in cut 23. That's a game high. 9 out of 16 from the field, plus 5 boards. Just his second game back after missing 4 with that left wrist fracture. You can still see the tape on his left hand there. He is just a tough and tenacious senior. Jones, little hesitant, kicks out. Lewis rises. And there's Martin with the rebound. 1:20 to go. And now the Golden Eagles have to get aggressive at times here.
And this is just now going to turn into a free throw shooting competition for UConn.
And Dan Hurley calls the timeout with 1:09 to go. You've got 17 seconds on that shot clock, and you just saw
Marquette, those dunks. You know, the missed threes, they happen, but the point-blank ones, they really hurt.
Here comes the trap. Boy, Cole stumbled, and he called the timeout. That's UConn's final timeout, Donnie.
And these are situations that UConn has had a lot this season. Late game time for these kids. And let's remember, they are kids. They're going to have to go home, and they're going to have to stay safe and healthy with all the protocols happening with COVID. So this is a difficult time for these players. So
this is a must-stop for Marquette. Cole chucks it up and in. Oh, my goodness.
What he does.
9-point game now. Golden Eagles need points in a hurry. That's 20 for Cole. That's a difficult finish for Cam Jones. Back to a 7-point game. Shaka Smart uses his second to last timeout. Oh, man. Well, when it's your night, it is your night. Martin inbound. He can run the baseline. Marquette trying to force the turnover in the backcourt. Oh, here comes Pauly.
And Pauly in the game to make free throws. If Marquette fouls, it's an easy one there out of the break.
Jones connects. 2-possession game, 26.1 left. Exactly what it did a moment ago.
Well, they got to get that ball in, no timeouts.
The double. Whaley up ahead to Martin. He'll use some time. And Jones fouls him to send him to the line.
And that's the guy I think you want to foul with who's on the floor at 60% coming into tonight's game. Polley at 90, Cole at 85. So that's the guy you want at the line if you're Marquette.
And one free throw here could essentially be the dagger for Shaka Smart's team. That may ultimately drop its third straight. UConn in position to pick up its first conference win of the year. Just what a fine evening for the R.J. Cole, Tyrese Martin duo. That's now 44 combined between these two, and a pair of players, Donnie, that started elsewhere. R.J. Cole, 2 years at Howard, he transfers in. Tyrese Martin started, of all places, at Rhode Island, where Danny Hurley previously was. He transferred in ahead of last season. And they have just matured into two go-to scorers and playmakers this year. Jackson flies in for the rebound, and UConn can just wind out the remainder of this clock. They come into a hostile environment, Donnie, into Fiserv and pick up their first Big East win of the year.
It's a nice way to go into the Christmas break for UConn and all their fans. Marquette's got to think about some things, but they'll be okay.
25 for Martin.